It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we're at Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley and I'm Gary McNamara. Hi. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
So here we go. Cracker Barrel announced yesterday that it will suspend its restaurant remodel program in response to customer concerns.
All right. Okay.
I'm thinking of Dad here, thinking of Dad and that CEO. It's a Julie Messina, Messino, whatever it is, of Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
You give somebody a title and they believe they get an infusion of brains.
Right. Yeah.
I know people just go, well, it's just another store doing the wrong thing. But it's the idiocy. Because you think about it, she should be fired now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
$711 million. The co-founder went, what the hell are you doing? You're $711 million to change the brand. Well, the brand is too old. It's supposed to be old.
That was the whole point.
I love it when he said it was old in 1969 because it's supposed to be the rustic 1920s.
Nobody's kept crackers in a barrel since before the Beatles. I mean,
did you see, and it was all over social media. It was last week when we were on vacation. There was a animation, and it was the old guy, with the barrel, sitting down with Uncle Ben, Aunt Jemima.
Yeah.
And who was the other one? I forgot who the other one was.
Yeah.
And finally he had to get up. Oh, what? Oh, sorry, guys. You got to stay here. I'm back.
Right. Got his job back.
Oh,
yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
But I just can't believe, and I understand. I mean, I've often said that when I first became a talk show host and started paying attention, to what's going on in the community that I lived in, and you started talking to politicians and business people, and I automatically assumed that because they were in the particular position that they somehow had an infusion of brains.
Yeah, right.
I really did.
Yeah.
I remember looking up going, how do you get there? And how do you have this confidence?
Right.
Well, the confidence must come from being so smart. And I'm thinking, and my mind was actually going to the right side of my brain was going to the left side of my brain, blah, 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 because they weren't that smart.
Right.
And you can see it here. Wonder how much she's making. But she should be fired now.
Yeah,
it's like your brand.
I'll tell you this. You could have saved $711 million. Wow.
But Cracker Barrel announced Tuesday it will suspend its restaurant remodel program in response to customer concerns. Cracker Barrel Old Country Store said, it's even called Old Country Store.
Yeah.
That's Cracker Barrel Old Country Store. Look at this beautiful metal and glass building.
Right.
Said in a statement on Tuesday that it will halt remodels of its restaurants and maintain its traditional branding in response to widespread customer feedback. The company revealed the update in a post on X and its website, noting that guests had voiced opposition to both the new logo design and changes to store interiors. Well, you were warned by the one guy, the one investor who you shunned completely.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, look. Now, there were reports that some in the meeting wanted to go back even further to the old-fashioned thing and remove all indoor plumbing. But that they thought, no, we can't do outhouses. That probably won't work for a restaurant.
Yeah.
We'll keep it somewhat modern.
Yeah, because you can't have the outhouse in-house.
No, you can't.
Right.
And you can't have it out in the parking lot.
Right. Yeah, you just. I just love this. We're continuing to listen.
What do you mean? You mean starting to listen? What you meant was starting. We're starting to listen.
We're continuing to listen today.
Yeah.
We're suspending our remodels.
We hear you.
If your restaurant hasn't been remodeled, you don't need to worry. It won't be.
That's right.
With our recent announcement that our old-timer logo will remain, along with our bigger focus in the kitchen and on your plate, we hope that today's step reinforces that we hear you.
Yeah.
Well, the company added that while it tested a modernization interior design in only 4 of its 660 locations, the plan will not move forward. They reaffirmed its commitment to signature vintage Americana atmosphere, including rocking chairs on porches, fireplaces, peg games, and antiques sourced from its Tennessee warehouse.
All right.
Cracker Barrel also emphasized that the old-timer logo featuring the well-known character Uncle Herschel would remain on road signs, menus, and in stores.
Okay.
The chain recently restored Uncle Herschel's favorite breakfast platter. I mean, just saying that. Uncle Herschel's favorite breakfast platter is so much better than just, would you like to see what's on our breakfast platter?
Right. Exactly.
Uncle Herschel's favorite. You can't have favorite without Uncle Herschel in there.
Right. I like the old timer myself. That's what I get.
I know. I like
the old timer breakfast.
Old timer. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
But you just assume that people know what they're doing,
well,
and they're completely clueless in an industry that they've been in for a while.
Well,
in order to get to be a CEO.
And what are you trying to be? The founders were trying to go back in time. That was the whole idea. You wanted it to look old-fashioned. That was the whole gimmick, if you want to call it that. But that's the brand. Old-fashioned country store. No offense to 7-Eleven, but that's what they wanted to look like. Come on in. We're going to have a architect come in. Architect? No. I want Uncle Herschel himself with a hammer and nails. Fixing the tables and the rocking chairs, making the rocking chairs by hand. It is the brand.
In its Tuesday statement, Cracker Barrel reiterated its long-standing values. Well, no, actually, they're about a day old.
Right.
Because you gave up on them.
Right.
They weren't values.
Right.
Your values are now 1 day old.
Right.
Wow.
Look.
But their long-standing values, first established when the company opened in 1969, hard work, family, scratch-cooked food made with care.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the idea. You got a brand, and people like the brand. People understand what it is. Your customer knows what to expect. When you change that and put a question mark over it, oh, what's this? You might as well start a new restaurant. I said that before, but you might as well be starting a new restaurant.
Didn't McDonald's or something come out with a new, remember it was a healthy menu or something?
Yeah, they did that. Right. Mm-hmm.
Didn't work, did it?
Right. And they even had to pare down their McCafe because they found that, okay, look, we can't really have baristas. We're fast food, and we've got a lot of people at the drive-thru that want it fast. We're not going to be able to mimic what Starbucks does. We have good coffee. They still have the McCafe menu, but they pared it down from where it began because they were finding that it was slowing down the drive-through line. All right, then you're going to have to streamline that process, right? Not a big deal. You're not trying to rebrand it. They still had French fries and burgers. But when they tried to go, salads and everything else, trying to appease people that never ate at McDonald's, I mean, I understand if you're trying to invite people there, but the complaints were coming from people who were likely, and this is what they found out eventually, never going to eat there anyway. If you're saying, well, we want to expand our customer base, nothing wrong with that at all in adding to your menu. But you have to be realistic about it, and you have to know what you are. And they actually, I think it was, I don't know if it's the current CEO or their last CEO at McDonald's that said, we're burgers and fries. It's what we do. It's what we're known for. And we're going to do what we can to basically keep that brand going. And that's what you have to know. People expect something, again, about that brand. They're familiar with it, and when it's a long-running brand, you probably shouldn't mess with it, especially today, because the competition is fierce. And if you're launching something brand new, again, you might as well be launching something that's separate.
I mean, at least the Philadelphia Karen was a Phillies fan.
Exactly. She knew.
No, but I remember, because I was working with you remember the fast food lawsuits?
Oh, yeah.
We're like, they don't even eat there.
Right. Yeah. Right.
What was the lawsuits like you were?
Well, there were some lawsuits of people eating there claiming, hey, you're making me unhealthy.
Right.
Like you're forcing.
That's what it was. They're making
there.
them healthy or something like that. Or they were becoming obese, so there was a health hazard.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people that, the vegans quite often protest, and especially the animal rights vegans, not the Bill Clintons. I'm a vegan when I say I'm a vegan of the world, but it's the animal rights people that, they wanted to basically shut McDonald's down. Look, you're not going to appease everyone. Know what you are. When it comes to your brand, know exactly what you are. But especially with food today, I would say in 2025, where we are today, with the cost of food and people measuring, basically now that cost versus grocery costs. Okay, is it cheaper to eat at home or eat out? There's a lot of that going on in the drive-through market, in the fast food market. You're a sit-down restaurant, not high-end, still affordable, but you're a sit-down restaurant, and right now that is more of a luxury when people have less money. Don't mess with it.
And don't mess with the brand that will make people come in, where if you didn't have that brand, increase in prices might keep them from coming in.
Right.
But they love the experience of going to your restaurant.
Exactly. That's another thing, too.
The food's, of course, the food's important.
It's that comfort feeling inside that environment.
Yes.
The store itself, while you're waiting on a table or after you eat, walk through the store. You got to wait for a table. There. Yeah.
Well, you walk through the gift shop.
Right.
When you're waiting.
Yep.
It's great. It's like, I hope we don't have to walk right in.
Yeah.
I'd like 5 minutes just to see. I'll never forget, because before I got a pet, I'll never forget, I always wanted, remember they used to have those cats and dogs? They'd be on a little pad.
Yeah, yeah.
And you put a battery in and they're breathing.
Yeah.
And I went, that's the kind of pet I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a thing. Yeah. Sitting there breathing in the corner. It looks like it's breathing. It's like
some of the giant candy that they have.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah.
I can't have the candy.
I know.
But,
I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet, but trust me.
Yeah.
I'm watching it.
No, but it was part of the experience.
It is. It is.
And if the rocking chairs were out
in the gift store, I don't know, probably more often than not.
If nobody was in the rocking chairs, I'm going to be rocking.
Oh, man.
Even if it's for 30 seconds.
Man, if there's a waiting line and it spills to outside, if the gift store is full of people, quite often you'll see that front porch with rocking chairs full of people.
There's a place I've been going to have breakfast because it's pretty healthy. They have they give breakfast sandwich, but then they give you fruit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in a Victorian home,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of miles. I go there about once a month, and I go there with a couple of people that I know. If they can go, we meet there. And we could go anywhere. And we go there because it's a Victorian home. They've got couches.
Right.
It just has that atmosphere
Right.
that no one else has.
And the couple that lives there doesn't like it, but it doesn't matter.
No, I don't care. But I don't care what the price is. I never
Yeah,
think of the
exactly.
price.
Right.
Because it's more. It's like, the meal's good, but the ambience, the brand is there.
That's it. That's what you're paying
Yeah.
for. You're paying for that experience. Eating out quite often is the experience of going out, meeting people, or even just people of your own household saying, hey, let's get out of the house for a minute.
Yes, I do care about price. If the breakfast sandwich and fruit was $100, I probably wouldn't go.
Probably.
Somebody's going to go, you said price doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I was trying to put it in context.
It's not the only consideration.
Yes. 866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
Wednesday is the traditional date signifying the midway point of the Atlantic hurricane season. And USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey says,
Indeed, it has been relatively quiet to this point.
with only 6 named storms and 1 hurricane, Erin, which avoided landfall in the U.S. and Caribbean.
6 named storms, that's certainly below expectations that we saw during the forecast initially back in May and during the update in August.
Yet Rippey notes a second peak in the Atlantic hurricane season usually takes place in October. As for the Ys for below expected hurricane activity, starting points further north of the African coast not conducive to increased storm formation, and a deep jet stream dip in the eastern U.S., bringing wind shear to tear apart developing systems. Rippey also points out, though, there have been impacts in the U.S. mainland from tropical activity, such as from named storms Barry and Chantal. I'm Ron Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Oh, what was the one thing I wanted to hit today? Oh, what was there was some. The judge in Michigan. With the for the 2020 election.
Yeah.
You had the what was it, like 12, 15 people. The alternate. What do you call it? The alternate. Electors, yes. And they were trying to get them for trying to overthrow an election.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge said they weren't overthrowing an election. They said if they found out their whole point was we're going to have alternate electors if the courts kick this back.
Right.
So they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And she said, I don't see they did anything wrong. Absolutely right decision.
Right.
Absolutely the right decision. I didn't have it in front of me.
We said when it happened, it was like, well, wait a minute, there's nothing actually happened. They didn't claim they were electors. You know, the liberal activist media tried to portray that as, well, they claimed they were electors. And, again, it's the judge did the right thing here.
The judge explained that she saw no intent to commit fraud. The defendants had sincerely believed that there were problems with the election where Joe Biden was declared the winner. I believe they were executing their constitutional right to seek a redress of their grievances.
Right. Plain and simple.
They didn't commit any fraud. They didn't do anything.
Right.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Yeah. So the entire thing with the alternate electors, they went after the alternate electors, is what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at what actually happened, the Trump campaign created several slates of alternate electors. And as the judge said, it was not an attempt to create fake or fraudulent electors to fool authorities, but rather to provide a legal remedy in the event the election results were overturned.
Yeah, right.
The fear was that if a court or a state legislature invalidated the Electoral College vote of Michigan or another closely contested state, those votes would not be awarded to Trump without electors. So he wanted electors there.
Right.
So there was no fraud to begin with.
Right.
They weren't attempting to overthrow the election by doing that. And so the Michigan judge came out and just said, there's no crime.
Right. They didn't forge any documents here. Right. They didn't, so there is no crime. And
this was lawfare to the max. And
right, yeah.
You and I always said, though, if they were willing to go after Trump, they were willing to go after anybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, sure. Right.
And so that's good that happened. All right, you ready for this one?
Okay, what do you got?
I'm going to read this in the tone that I read it the first time. Okay.
Okay. All right.
But in my mind, CBS News announced Monday it had hired Kenneth Weinstein to serve as an ombudsman, installing a well-known conservative to right the ship after a year in which a network has come under fire for several high-profile mishaps.
Mishaps.
Yes.
All right.
Skydance Media had first promised to hire an ombudsman ahead of the FCC approval of the merger between itself and CBS parent company Paramount. Weinstein, who previously served as president and CEO of the Hudson Institute, a think tank focused on promoting freedom and free enterprise, will be charged with evaluating any complaints of bias by the network and turning over his findings to Paramount president Jeff Shell and George Cheeks. The company's head of TV media said, you know what this means?
What?
The rot's still there.
It sounds
inside the newsroom and the editorial staff.
This is a massive attempt at an overcorrection, which tells, it's exactly what you say. It really is for show. You can't convince me otherwise.
I know.
Until there's evidence that there's actually a change, which I don't believe there will be. We've seen this before.
I think there'll be
an ombudsman.
There'll be some change. I think there'll be a little change.
We'll see. Look, part of this is
a little.
Yeah, part of this
for show.
Well, no, I think they're going to go out of their way to do it for show, but we'll be able to assess the work that is done there accordingly. What they put out there, and look what we're doing. See, we're balanced. We report and you decide. No, that's the other guys. They have to go out of their way, and it sounds like this gross overcorrection. And sorry, but I don't buy it. What's Weinstein going to do that your lawyers can't do, that management can't already do?
Well, unless the ombudsman can force them on while they're on the air doing a story. Since we're talking, I think The View was mentioned here, that they will have to read a legal note after they do a story that is too biased.
Right.
If they do that, then I'll be totally pleased.
Right.
Because I would love to. Wouldn't that be great? An anchor. Meanwhile, that filthy Hitler Trump. And then they come back from the break. We're We're back from the commercial break, and we have a legal note. Trump is not a filthy.
Trump is not filthy.
He's not. Trump is not filthy. He is Hitler.
Whoa.
There you go. There's the ombudsman.
Hitler in place. I mean,
he's a very clean man.
it's laughable because my thought is, all right, I don't know, Weinstein. Let's just say that part of it is on the up and up. Well, what about the rest of the hires or existing staff that's on board? I mean, where is it? Where's the guidance, tone, and culture going to be reset? I don't buy that that's going to happen. I could be wrong. I'd love to be wrong. Not that I need to see CBS change, but if the pressure is so great right now that the media is, doing this kind of correction, if it turns out that that's what that was, again, I don't believe it is. But if it turns out to be that, then, all right, that's encouraging.
But wouldn't it be great to see Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation have to do a legal note?
Yeah. What about Jane Pauley on that Sunday morning thing when she comes back with it, after the interview with Don Henley and goes, what I meant to say about Don Henley was... That's probably the most consistent thing.
Face the Nation has said they're going to play the full interview.
Well, that's what they say. They'll only be 10 seconds long, but they'll be playing the full interview.
Here's a full interview. We had Donald Trump on and said, why don't you think you're Hitler?
Right. Do you think you're the best Hitler ever?
That's even a better one.
Yeah.
You're right. We will make sure that we play his entire answer. Do you believe that you're the best Hitler ever?
Or ask it in a way that he's going to respond. Would you be the best dictator that there has ever been?
Would you make dictators great
everybody
again?
knows that I would be. Oh, my gosh. But it's laughable, because, again, why do you need to announce that? Why do you need to promote this? Where is the actual change? The change, I don't want to sound like, I don't know, a psychologist or something, but the change comes from within the organization as a whole in changing the tone and changing the culture. And I don't believe you're going to do that. Why? Because this is 2025. Who are you going to hire? What's it going to? Not that I expect them to be conservative. I just need you to do journalism. I don't even expect that, though.
So here they write then, CBS agreed to update its editorial policy as part of the settlement. Under the agreement, CBS is now required to promptly release full unedited transcripts of future presidential candidates' interviews. And in another move that appears to show the direction the network will take under its new leadership, Paramount is apparently close to closing a major deal with independent journalist Barry Weiss to buy her online publication, The Free Press, and to appoint her to a top editorial position at the network. Left-leaning news networks and outlets were up in arms over the impending deal. The Huffington Post called Weiss the polarizing editor of the Free Press and said the proposal offers a preview of how Ellison, the son of top Trump ally, intends to shape CBS News moving forward. Salon also referred to Weiss as the polarizing editor and founder of the conservative outlet, The Free Press, and called her a controversial figure. The Nation warned vile grifters are taking over established media. We live in a terrible place and time. Weiss would be dismissed as a crank and a bigot and never heard from again, but we live in the waking nightmare that is the United States in 2018. So instead, Weiss is being rewarded with the prize that even she must think is kind of wild. The prize, CBS News, the Nation's senior editor wrote. Barry Weiss is not a conservative.
She's not. She's a journalist. And they can't have that. That's why I have zero confidence. Again, because if that deal goes through, I'm anxious to see what that looks like on the other side.
I go back.
I don't know. By the way,
go ahead.
It could be. I'm going to leave this. I don't know if I can assign a percentage of what the probability of what I think it's going to be. Maybe 10% chance that there is a change in the media, and there is this push to say, look, if we want to retain an audience and earn a new audience along the way, we're going to have to do real journalism. But I don't know how you make that happen. I don't know, after being such activists for all of this time, I don't know how you reverse it. I don't know how you unwind it. I don't know that a merger or anything else, or even somebody new in charge, changes that culture completely. We'll see.
I remember it was February 25th, 2001 is when Bernard Goldberg released his book Bias. A CBS insider exposes how the media distort the news. And then he I forgot, he wrote the next book too. I forgot what his other book was, but it was about media bias. But the bias was about when he worked for Dan Rather.
Right.
And he went through how he didn't believe CBS was biased.
Right.
He didn't think 60 Minutes was, and didn't think Dan Rather was.
Right.
Until it was pointed out to him by somebody, a contractor who worked for him, who said, "You're biased, and I'll show you when." And it was the story over the flat tax.
Right.
And Steve Forbes.
When Steve Forbes was running, yeah.
Right. And it started out, and he came back, and Bernard Goldberg told the contractor who was doing work at his house, "Well, you call me and you tell me when you see bias." And he did. He goes, "Tonight, that story on Steve Forbes' flat tax. Listen to the beginning of it. The flat tax scheme."
Yeah.
It was right there. And then you had nobody who defended the flat tax. Anybody who you had said the flat tax was horrible. And
Right.
Bernard Goldberg said, "I know people that think the flat tax would be great.
Right.
I know people that don't like it. I think people." And he said it wasn't a fair story. And that's how it began. So that was like 2001. Then I think he wrote another book. I forgot what that book was. It was Bias, and there was another one that he wrote. And I think it got to be like 2003, 2004. It was definitely before I came on the show with you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a USA Today. I think it was USA Today did an article, and it said, and Sean Hannity had written his book by that time. I think his first book.
Yeah.
And Ann Coulter had a book out. It was the premise of the story was the right wingers, the publishing dynasty by the right wingers. And Bernard Goldberg's books were in it.
Right.
Well, he's not a right winger.
No.
And this is why I brought it up, because it relates to Barry Weiss. Barry Weiss is not a right winger.
No, she's
not a conservative.
His follow-up to Bias was Arrogance.
Arrogance. Okay.
Rescuing America from the Media Elite. That was 2003.
Okay, yeah.
So a couple of years after Bias.
Right, so I think those both books out when USA they did the story, and it's like, Bernard Goldberg's, he admittedly not a conservative. He has some conservative, as he said, he's got some conservative feelings and ideologies, opinions.
Yeah.
But he said, you couldn't put me in the conservative, slot there.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. If I believed in journalism, that made me right wing. And you understand why these people are so furious. They're political activists.
That's it. They're furious. They're furious that Barry Weiss built something and has an audience for it, to the point that Paramount is looking at it as a property worth at least $100 million, according to reports.
Yeah.
They can't stand that she's done the work.
Yeah.
She's earned it.
Well, to a liberal, quote, journalist who is a political activist, their enemy actually is true journalists.
Yes, it is.
866-90 Red Eye.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. What did you say? What numbers are coming out this week? Economic numbers?
So we got wholesale inflation today.
Oh, okay.
Inflation numbers tomorrow.
All right.
Then a week from today, the Fed meeting, and we'll hear Jerome Powell's decision on interest rates.
Now, it was the wholesale numbers last month that were horrible, right?
They weren't good, and the median forecast, especially tomorrow, looking at core inflation, the median forecast is still at a healthy pace, and that won't be good. We'll see where it lands. Again, today, wholesale inflation, then inflation numbers tomorrow.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.